Hi, welcome back. This is section 4 of using Microsoft OneNote. I want to make a correction about something I talked about in section 3 when we were working with tags. I said that tags can't be found using the Find Tags button if they're in a section group, and that's just not true. Come to find out, yesterday I was having some issues with OneNote, and it's an issue that's been around since probably 2012, 2011, maybe even. I know it's quite a few years old. Not sure why Microsoft can't get it fixed, but every now and then OneNote will stop finding tags. It'll only find tags that you have on the current page. And that was the problem I was having yesterday. There are lots of different proposed solutions for this out on the internet, but the best one I've found is to simply close the notebook that you're working in, the one where the Find Tags isn't working. Close that notebook. So let's say that when I do a Find Tags, it only finds these 3 tags, not the full list. And you simply come over here, right click, and close this notebook. So when I do a refresh, now it doesn't find those because, well, that's a closed notebook. So if I come back over here and open other notebooks, and I come back down here and open my example notebook, and then do a refresh, now you'll see it finds all the ones in that notebook as well, even the ones, even the custom tag that I created, right? This one, there it is. And as far as finding a tag in a hidden notebook, or not a hidden notebook, but in a section, let me open my personal notebook here again. And you'll see I have a group right here. It's called My Group. I'm going to switch to a totally different notebook. I'll go to School Notes. I'll do a refresh on my tags. And you'll see there's some on here that you may not have noticed before. Maybe like this, Wherever. That's in my project notes in my example workbook. I go back to School Notes, refresh. Here's a list of employees. There's some to-do items. And here, I believe it's here it is. So what's this? This will take us to my personal notebook in the My Group section group and find that tag. So it will find tags in sections that are in groups. You just might have to do a little finagling. Like I said, this is a bug that's been in OneNote for years and years. If it doesn't work, try closing the notebook, open it back up again, and see if that makes a difference. Okay, so now we're ready to move on to inserting into Microsoft OneNote, or the Insert tab. I'm going to go ahead and close my personal notebook, and we'll only work with our 2 example notebooks. And I'm going to go to my example workbook here to my project notes page, or project notes section, and the project A1 section page. Going to be one of those days, because the very first item on the Insert tab is a button labeled Insert Space. And when you click on that button and bring your mouse pointer down onto the canvas, you'll notice it puts a horizontal line on there with either a single arrow or a double-sided arrow. The double-sided arrow means you can either reduce the space or increase the space between objects. If you get the single arrow, then all you can do is increase the space not decrease the space. So I can increase the space here. And you'll notice that, let me undo that. These two items are in the same text box, if you will. So I can use my insert space as long as I put my horizontal line between those two items, and I can actually separate items in a text box, those little groups. And then, like I said, I can use that same button to decrease the space, bring them back up. It didn't put them back in the same box, but it brought them up closer. You also have a right and a left increase space. So if I bring my pointer over to the left side, you'll see I get the vertical bar instead of the horizontal bar. Now I can click and drag and push these things to the right. And if I click the insert space button again, come over here to the right, you'll see it doesn't change. And that's because I'm not at the right edge of my active canvas. So all you have to do is take your scroll bar and drag it all the way over. Now I'm at the right edge of my canvas. So I can push these back over. So that's the insert space button. Next we have the insert table button, pretty standard. Two ways to insert tables, or actually two ways to work this grid. You can either click and drag to select the grid that you want, and it'll put it wherever your insertion line was. Or if I want to put a table over here, maybe I want to create a little calendar, I can go to the Insert tab, Table, and the second way to do this is you simply hover your mouse over. See, no clicking and dragging. You just hover your mouse over, and when it shows you the size of a grid that you want, I'll do a 7 by 6, and again, no click and drag. And then you simply click on the last grid square that you want to use, and it'll put that table on your canvas. So if I wanted to create a little calendar, I could just do Sunday, oops. There's my calendar. Just like any other table, you tab from cell to cell, shift tab to go backwards. If you press the enter key, then it's going to add another line in that cell. So I can add a couple of lines, blank lines to each of these rows, just to make my calendar a little bigger. And then you can come back and you can put your numbers in. Maybe Tuesday is the first day of the month. So oops. There. And you know, it took away some of my spaces. That's all right. I just come back in here and put them back. Just go to the bottom line and you add your space back. And there's your little calendar. I mean, it's, you know, you can add events, you know, just like you would any other thing. Maybe that's, you know, too big of a font. Ooh, that was interesting. I don't know what happened with my cursor there, but I can decrease the font size on this. If I think it's too big, I can add color, you know, make it purple font. You can do whatever you want. It's your stuff, it's your notes, it's your canvas. So whatever you need to create. All right, so I'm gonna move back to the left. I'm gonna scroll down a little bit. And we're gonna go back to the insert. The next item is file printout. Actually, let me add another page for this because file printout can be interesting. print page. So what file printout does is it's the same thing as if you're in another application. For example, maybe you're in Word, and I'll just do something here. I'll open a template. So here's my template. It's our resume assistant, yeehaw. But if I wanted to print this, if I go to File and Print, you should notice that one of your options, if you have OneNote installed on your computer, is Send to OneNote. For a lot of these, it's defaulted to Send to OneNote because it's not sure where else to send it if you don't have a default printer installed. So sending this document to OneNote, you just click Print. And then we'll minimize Word. And here in OneNote, it wants to know where you want to put this printed object. So I want to put it in my example work notebook. And I want to put it in a section where project notes. And I want to put it on the print page. Click OK. And there it is. Full 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So that is the same thing as going to File Printout. So go to File Printout. Let's say I want to put this Chancellor's memo in here. I just double click. It's going to take a few seconds to go through its motions in the background. And now we have that PDF document printed to my canvas. Now this is just a printed image. You can't go in here and make any changes to this, right? Printed image. But doing it this way, it also gives you an icon that tells you what type of document this is, as well as the file name. On the printed from Word document, you don't get all that. So there's a couple different ways to do this. Something else you can do here in OneNote is you can attach a file. So if you click the File Attachment button, and let's say I want to add creating forms in Acrobat. This is a fairly large document. If I come over here, you can see it's just over 2K kilobytes, 2,000 kilobytes. So it's big. So I don't want to print all of these pages. It's like a 45-page book. So instead of printing that to my page, I can simply add. You're attaching the file. It's like a link, right? So here's the icon, and to access that creating forms or that document, you just double click the icon, and you want to make sure that it's safe. Yeah, it's safe. And for me, it opened on my other screen. I'll just bring it over, but there it is. All right. Yeah, that was close. It's a 36-page document. So if you don't want all of that to be printed to your canvas, but you want easy access to the form, then you can use a file attachment. You can also add Excel spreadsheets to your canvas. I'll come down here below my memo, make sure my insertion line is in place, and then you click the spreadsheet button. And it wants to know if you want to add an existing spreadsheet or a new spreadsheet. We're going to add an existing spreadsheet just so you can see, it's kind of like the file printout. So we'll take this Fitness Members 2 just because it's here. It's easily accessible. And then Insert. And it wants to know, do you want to attach the file like we did that PDF above, or do you want to insert a spreadsheet or a chart or table? I'm going to go ahead and insert a spreadsheet. And again, it does its thing in the background. And it prints, again, it works off of what it thinks is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and this one would be 8.5 by 11 in landscape, okay, because it's wider than that one. So this is 8.5 by 11 in landscape, and even at that size, it's too big to fit everything on one row. So it had to split this worksheet into 2 different rows. Now, the difference between this and just doing a file printout is here we have a link to actually edit this document. So you'll see down here that on our member date field, we get these hashtags in Excel. That means that the cell is too narrow to display all the information. So I can click this edit button, and it's going to do its thing in the background, and it's going to actually open file in Excel for me. But something you understand about this is it's now essentially creating a new file. Remember, the original file that I opened was Fitness Members 2. Now when you look up here at the file name, this is now Fitness Members 23. So it's creating a new file. So your original file remains untouched when you come in here to make changes. That's an important thing for you to remember. If you want to save this as the original file, then you have to come up here, do a file, save as, and then overwrite the existing file. I'm not going to do that. I just want to show you can go in here and you can edit these changes. You still have to save, but again, it's saving as a different file name. So now when I close this Excel, you can see that it's already displaying it down here on my canvas. So spreadsheets, interactive, sort of. You have to edit and then go into Microsoft. We also have a screen clipping button. There is a caveat to this screen clipping button. Whatever you want to do the screen clipping of, you have to have that application open behind OneNote. Because as soon as you click this button, OneNote's going to minimize. And it's going to take you into screen clipping mode. So if I click this button, OneNote minimizes, and I have nothing open in the background. So the only I can take a picture of, or a screen clip of here, is my desktop. So I'll get my clock. And then it places that image of whatever you did the screen clipping of directly on your OneNote canvas, wherever your insertion line was. So apparently my insertion line was somewhere not at the bottom, because it put the clock right here over top of that printed document. But it gives you the image, and it tells you it's a screen clipping taken on whatever date and at whatever time. So if I wanted a screen clipping of something on, on the internet, then you have to open the internet to the correct page. I'll just see if I can get something fired up here real quick. Not that there's anything real quick about opening Chrome for some reason. There we go. Just thinking about it. I'll just go to my local news just for the sake of being as quick as I can. I'll maximize this and I'll switch back to OneNote. I'll come down here, I'll reposition my insertion line. Put my insertion line down here at the bottom. And I'll go to screen clipping. And I'll do a screen clipping of this picture. And there you go. So again, insertion line position is a key. when you're doing these kinds of things, because I didn't specify where my insertion line was. It just took this one and plopped it in kind of in the middle of my page. But because I positioned my insertion line down here, that's where it put this picture. Okay, we can also insert pictures. This is standard picture insertion. If you've ever inserted pictures into Word or PowerPoint, it'll open your pictures folder, and we'll just double click the image we want, and it puts it right there on the canvas wherever your insertion line is. You can move it, you can resize it. Same thing with all these other pictures that we put on here, the screen capture. One thing about the screen capture, if I hover over this, you'll see this screen clipping for Windows, Windows 10. All right, if you have Windows 10, it's the Windows button plus the Shift button plus S, and that's if you're outside of OneNote. So if I'm just out here, on my local web page, and I want to get a picture of this weather planner, I can do a Windows Shift S keyboard shortcut. Puts me into screen clip mode, and then I just click and drag to get the image I want. Now the difference here is this one puts it in your clipboard. Okay, it doesn't put it directly into OneNote because you might not even have OneNote open. So you have to go to OneNote and then tell it where you want to put it and then paste it from your clipboard. So that's just another way to access screen clipping. And yeah, I know Windows has a screen clipper, but this is easier. So you can also add online pictures. This just opens, depending on what your browser is, a Bing search. And let's say I wanted to insert a train. I do a search for locomotive. And I like this one. Just you click on it to select it and then insert it. Just because you find these pictures through a search like that doesn't mean that it's yours to use freely. Some of these pictures are still copyright protected, and not all of them will download either. But you get the idea. Online pictures, you just do a search. I'll try and do an easy one. Do a frog. There's a frog, and I'll insert this frog picture. Oh, mercy, that's a big one. So because this is so big, I can resize it as needed. And there it is on my canvas. So that's inserting from online. If you have a scanner connected, you can scan images directly onto OneNote. I don't have a scanner. You can add your own web links. You can also use this link button to create a table of contents, an interactive table of contents for OneNote. So I'll just show you real quick how to do a web link. We'll do BNSF Railroad and their address, bnsf.com. You click OK. There's my link. When you click on the link, it'll open your default browser, and it'll open it to that page. Just take a minute here. And again, I think it's going to open mine on the my other screen here. Yep, there it is. BNSF Railways. And you can see there's the web page. It's working. There it is. Okay, so that's how you do links to places on the internet. Like I said, you can also use this to create a table of contents. I'll abbreviate a little bit here, do a table of contents. All right, and we'll do a link, and we'll call this, these are all the different places you can link to, whatever you have open. So if I wanted a quick link to my address book, right, I'll do a text to display, address book, and then I just come down here and I say, all right, I want to go to class contents. So we'll add to this class address book, and then OK. And we'll drop down a line or two below that. We'll insert another one, and we'll do a teacher address book. And you do the same thing. You just expand and expand until you find the page that you want. And you click OK. So now I have these two links, not even going to places in this notebook. But if I click this link, it opens my school notes and takes me here to this page. If I go back to my table of contents, click my teacher address book, it opens to my teacher contacts. So if you got a large notebook with a lot of information, or maybe you just want to be able to move from section to section, page to page easily, this is probably the best way to do it. This is another really neat feature of OneNote that I really enjoy. All right, we also have the option to record audio. So if I click this record audio, it might work. I'm already recording, so yep, it works. So you'll notice you get this audio video recording. It's already recording everything I'm saying because we have a pause and a stop button. So I'm recording, testing, 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 1, 2, 3. And now if I press the stop button, here's my icon for my notebook. And if I come over here, you'll notice this little play button to the left. It might work. I'm already recording, so. It might work. I'm already recording, so. Yep, it works. So you'll notice you get this audio video recording. It's already recording everything I'm saying because we have a pause. There you go. So that's how the record audio works. I don't know if the record video is going to work because I'm recording this, but it works in similar fashion. I do have some video in another notebook here. In my personal notebook, I can show you what it looks like. Here on my miscellaneous page. And audio video. So here's audio and video. If I click play, we'll see. There you go.
There's my video. Hi, welcome to
I'm not there right now.
my office. It's not much to brag about, but
I'll just close it.
Well,
So that's audio and video. And again, they record right to your canvas. Very, very cool. I don't know if any of the other note-taking apps can do that. I never tried. Yeah, that's audio and video. We also have a date timestamp. There's the date stamp. There's the timestamp, and then maybe you want the date and time. So you have date timestamp. Now, something I didn't show you earlier on when we were adding pages and adding sections and stuff, because it's here on the Insert tab. But if you don't want just a plain white piece of paper when you add a page, OneNote does come with page templates. If you click the top half of this button, it's a two-part button. You click the top half of this button, it opens the templates pane on the right side. And there are just a ton of page templates that you can use. I'll just show you a few of them. here. So here on the planners, we have 3 different planners. There's a simple to-do list, there's a prioritized to-do list, and there's a project to-do list. So the only thing I don't like about this is there's no hover preview. To see what these look like, you actually have to add that page to your section. So I've added, oops, I added 2 of those. We'll get rid of that. There's, what have we got? We have the simple to-do list and the project. Here's the prioritized to-do list. So you can't just hover them and look at it. You have to actually click on it, add it to your section to see what it looks like. Then we have the decorative templates, and there's a bunch of these. There you go from just, you know, and all it does is it adds prettiness to your page, I guess you can say. So a bunch of different ones. Find a couple that you like, use those. But again, every time you click to look at one, it adds a new page. There's blue stripes. Then we have the business templates, and these are, well, templates. You take what's there, replace it with your information. You know, for this one, I could do a project name, project A, company name, CTC, presenter. Right, you just fill it in, and then it's there for you. So there's all these different ones: simple meeting notes, there's informal meeting notes, detailed meeting notes. Man, there's so many different templates. And then there's the blank templates where you can get different colored canvas. Here's cayenne, there's purple, there's green, green's not wanting to come up for me here. Magenta, yellow. All right, and then you can also create grid paper. There's lined notebook paper. So these are just all the different things that you can use to make your notes personalized. Maybe you want to create some study index cards. There's a 3x5 index card. There's one that's a postcard size. It's a little bit bigger. So bunch of different, these are other sizes of paper, you know, legal paper, tabloid paper, your standard 8.5 by 11. So if you do want to create something, maybe for printout purposes, you go with this 8.5 by 11 and have at it. Then we have the academic templates. And again, these are just some different note style pages for you to choose from. Use what's there and then add to it. So good stuff on this page templates. After that, we have the equation button. And again, this is a 2-part button. The bottom half of that button will give you preset equations, the binomial theorem, the expansion of a sum, the Fourier series, and Pythagorean theorem. Maybe you're doing some math homework. I just add a blank page. Maybe I'm doing some math homework and I need to add the Pythagorean theorem. There it plugs it in. I probably don't want to put it in on the title, but you drop down out of the title and add the Pythagorean theorem down here. And what you can do is you can, you know, if you have numbers to plug in there, you can replace what's there with your stuff. So know that OneNote won't solve these equations for you, at least not the desktop version. The 2010 version, or the online version, will do some simple equations. Let me see if I can find a, well, this thing's being really slow today. Why are you being so, I think I got, what is it, A plus B equals 3, and then A minus B equals 1. And then if I select this and go to my insert and click the math button. This math button is only available in the online version. You click the math button and it picks up your equation, a plus b equals 3, a minus b equals 1. What do you want it to do with that? What action do you want it to take? I want it to solve for a and b. And there you go. It solves for a and b. A equals 2, b equals 1. So it not only solves it for you, it's also going to give you the option to show you how it comes to that conclusion. You can do a step-by-step substitution, and it gives you everything. Wow, this is good. But this is only available on the online version if you have a subscription to Office 365. Okay, only if you have Office 365. The desktop version will do simple math. Say I have 4 times 5. Let's switch that up. 4 plus 5 minus 6 times 2 divided by 3. Type an equal sign and press enter, and it solves it for you. So it does do simple straight line math. It does follow the order of operation. So if I was to put this in parentheses to make it look mathematically correct, it would be 4 plus 5 minus 6 minus 6 times 2 . All right, so 6 times 2 divided by 3 equals same answer. So it does follow the order of operation. It's going to do, you know, the please excuse my dear Aunt Sally kind of thing. Parentheses, exponents, and all that stuff. So, but these are just examples for you to use, and again, you can replace anything here with your numbers, and then, you know, work it out and do your stuff here on the canvas instead of on a piece of paper. When you do add one of these preset or pre-constructed formulas, you'll notice up here on the ribbon, you get a full set of design tools. So if you need to add to or subtract and change, all that kind of stuff, the tools are up here for you to do that. We also have, if you click on the top half of the button, it brings that toolbar up for you. We also have an insert symbol. So that gives you some non-standard symbols that you can insert into your canvas if necessary. So that's the insert tab, folks. So I think we're going to wind this one down for the day. And when we come back, we'll take a look at the drawing tab, and hopefully I won't have any errors to correct myself on when we come back for that part. So take care, stay safe, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.